Welcome to Movie World, the place where we only talk movies. I'm Andy Signor, and I'm here to review Reminiscence, starring Hugh Jackman. Have you even heard of this movie? I'm curious. Have you been paying attention? This movie has no buzz. No one seems to be talking about it. I saw it last night, and I have feelings. This will be premiering on HBO Max this weekend as well in theaters, but it really just feels like Warner Brothers is like, yeah, whatever. Maybe we'll make a little bit of money. Hugh Jackman's good, right? You guys like him? Yeah. Did you know we'd have a movie with him? I'm kind of shocked at the lack of publicity for this film. So I want to break down this movie, what it's about. I've seen it. Is it worth checking out? It is from the co-creator of Westworld. Now, I look her up, Lisa Joy. I wasn't unfamiliar, but she is the creator, along with Christopher Nolan's brother, right? They did Westworld together. She's also a writer on Pushing Daisies, Burn Notice, and she wrote and directed Reminiscence. She's also working on a Fallout TV series that she's been writing and producing as well. Yeah, she's comes from the Nolan verse, I guess you could say. She has shades of Nolan is definitely in here. She's definitely trying to do that. It reminded me of another Essence film, Transcendence, with Johnny Depp. That one's worse by far. I didn't like that movie, but that was by Wally Pfister, right? Who was Nolan's cinematographer. There seems to be a lot of people sort of who like are around the universe of Christopher Nolan that then get these opportunities to make Nolan-esque thrillers, and this one definitely is trying to be a Christopher Nolan thriller. The concept of the film, for those that don't know, so Hugh Jackman is basically works for this. We're in a weird version of Miami that was actually kind of interesting. I like this part of it. It's kind of like a water world where there's dry land in the middle of the world, but then everyone's been pushed to the outskirts where flooding has sort of lifted up and people live in sort of buildings and there's no roads. You have to take boats to the buildings and the skyscrapers, and they've become sort of the slums. And it's also gotten so hot in the world that the day in this universe is at night. And so they walk around at night like it's their day, and then their morning is when it's sort of like is light out and getting dark. It's an interesting idea, I have to say. There are some amazingly interesting ideas in this film. The biggest problem with this film is just it's far too long. It's far too long. But the premise of the film is Hugh Jackman and Rebecca Ferguson, who I love together in Greatest Showman. He basically is you can relive a memory is what the premise of. He has a machine, a device, and they keep it on cards. And you can go to him, and nostalgia sells. You can go back, and he can sort of guide you through a meditation, if you will, where then you get to relive a memory you enjoyed or want to go revisit. And it's displayed on this projector thing they have while they're in a tank doing it. And so the idea of the movie is this place that can relive your memories, and he's kind of a detective, if you will. He's very good at remembering things and keeping track of people. And the movie shifts when he meets this woman, played by Rebecca Ferguson, who he does fall in love with. But is everything as it seems? What happens? What's going on? That becomes sort of the mystery of the movie, and Hugh Jackman begins to unravel a mystery thriller as he's going through things of some more revelations, et cetera, that sort of become what Reminiscence is. Also stars Thandiwe Newton, who's good. Look, my biggest problem with this film, I really liked the last act. It's rare for me to like. I enjoyed the beginning. It got going. The movie then definitely has some serious lulls. I was told, my buddy Anthony was reading that apparently there was even another half hour or more footage that they ended up having to cut. And bravo to Warner Brothers for doing that, because personally, unless this was becoming a series, which I don't know if I would have stayed invested, it was way too long at times. And there's a lot of just noir narration from Hugh Jackman of him trying to figure things out and explain things to you. That all said, by the end of the movie, I did like it. By the end of the movie, I was entertained, and I really appreciated a new story, a new attempt at something, a new, adult thriller, if you will. Was rare to see, and I had fun with it. I enjoyed it. I just wish it had been a little tighter. It lagged in spots, and there's some ridiculous moments. You're like, wait, what? How does that make sense? The conveniences of things. However, I will give Lisa Joy credit. Her script does eventually got to a point where by the end, I was intrigued and enjoyed myself on the. At least it wrapped up well, is what I will say. Mostly, I don't want to spoil the final endings of things, but I had one problem that would be a spoiler. You guys will be seeing it soon. There's one. I will say this: there's a moment in the film that should have just cut to black. That sort of it just made sense. Sort of a flashback moment, if you will, that came back, and I was like, I really liked that. And then I wish I had just smashed to black, and instead, it does one of those Lord of the Rings things where it kept going a bit, and I was like, no, you're ruining it. You had it, but you're ruining it. And the film, I think, was a victim of that, of over endings. You know what I'm saying? That said, the third act is definitely the star of the show, I think, in this movie, when you finally get to realize what's the mystery, what's the thriller. And so I will say, if you're watching this film on HBO Max this weekend, or you go to theaters, it's definitely worth seeing on a big screen. It's a nice, stunning good cinematography. It's a good look. It's a good aesthetic she's got going. If you're having some problems and some lulls throughout, I will tell you, at least I enjoyed it. And the movie got better once the curtain starts getting pulled. But it's a lot of teasing and taking you there. It could have used a little bit more action. It's not an action movie, but there are a few moments of action that definitely are written in to keep the pacing going. And thank God they were there, because I probably would have at some point. I was like, all right, let's go. I can only handle the sort of noir for too long. But I really liked Hugh Jackman in it. Hugh Jackman is great. He gets a good chance to shine in this. Rebecca Ferguson, I've become a big fan of. I like her from Mission Impossible movies, and I loved her in Greatest Showman. She gets to sing again here, even though she didn't really sing in Greatest Showman. Lauren Ulrich sung that amazing Never Enough song. I'm a huge Greatest Showman fan still to this day. I love that film. I love them together. So it was actually really nice to see them together in this in a different type of role. And together they have good chemistry. She's good. I like her. She's mysterious, but just there's something about her. I understand why Hugh would want to work again with her. So overall, I gotta say, what do I ultimately grade this one? I got to start grading things. I think it's sort of helpful. I'd say this is like a solid 6.5. I'm trying to give it a 7, but probably more of like a 6.5. But that sounds like it's bad. It's not. It didn't blow me away. It's not a movie. We were talking at the end, and I saw it with some other friends, and we were like, yeah, I think the director really wants you to see it again to find all the Easter eggs. And I'm sure some people will be invested and really enjoy it that much to go watch it again. But I don't see myself really ever feeling the need to go back and rewatch it. So in that way, it dips down a bit. I wish it had a rewatchability factor where I would have wanted to see it again. But I feel like this is one of those movies that I'm like, yeah, it was fine. It was cool. I applaud its efforts. I'd like to see what she does next, and I applaud Warner Brothers for funding an original idea. So for all those reasons, I'm recommending it. I think it's a worthy 2-hour experience. It's just under 2 hours. Thank God they clocked it in. It fell a little longer. But overall, it's not as stellar as Nolan-esque, if you will. Look, I think the Nolan... Maybe get me unpopular. I think the Nolan style is getting a little overrated. I didn't like Tenet that much either. I think he's trying too hard at times. And... sometimes, it's style over substance. In this film, though, I do think, unlike what I call it, the other one with Johnny Depp, I just said it. I really didn't like that one. Transcendence, that's what it was. Really didn't like that one. This one, I think, definitely is a step above and at least a good watch. This could have been a limited series on HBO, without a doubt. And they probably could have stretched out and had like a 6 thing, but I wonder if yeah, you know what? I don't think it should have. I think they were right. This was a small contained story that worked as a movie. I applaud them for going big budget and making a cool movie. I like the Miami underwater. I like the day for night sort of excuse. And I liked Hugh Jackman. I got to say, Hugh Jackman is so likable and such a good actor that even, mediocre stuff can be a little bit better. Because I think he's a star. You just like watching him. You believe in him. And him and Rebecca Ferguson sold it for me. Overall, more positive than negative for sure, but definitely has its problems. What do you think? Have you heard of this film? Were you looking forward to seeing this film? Will you check it on HBO Max? Is this helping you have a HBO Max subscription? Or will you go to the theaters? I want to hear what you're going to do in the comments down below. Let me know what you thought. Thank you guys so much for watching here on Movie World. Lots more movie content coming. I know I say that, but it is. So stay tuned. Thanks, everybody.